Illness is plaguing the Red Sox organization right now to the point that they are going to have to make some alterations going into their opening day roster. I'm here to break down how they're in the market for another right fielder and as well as how they have an ample amount of options. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Red Sox Digest. But first, before we get to the news and information, please do remember that if you are a part of the 86.5% currently watching this video, not currently subscribed to the channel, scroll down, click the subscribe button, help us get to our goal of 2,000 subscribers. We are so close because of your love and support, so thank you guys so very much. But now let's get to it and break down the major updates and how we are on the market for another outfielder, preferably a right fielder. Now, the Red Sox obviously have a lot of talent already on this roster, the 40-man roster, if you will. But because of how spring has looked, it seems like they have an ample amount of options to replace Wilyer Abreu, as it seems like he is not going to be ready for the opening day roster because of an illness he has been really battling for the majority of spring. Now, he is not the only Red Sox to be dealing with illness. A crazy amount of players on this Red Sox organization, or involved in this Red Sox organization, I should say, have been dealing with this norovirus and other GI infections and illnesses that has just been ripping apart the Red Sox organization. Now, Tristan Casas missed an ample amount of time. He has just returned in the last few days after missing almost 2 weeks. Obviously, Abreu is the topic of conversation in this video, as he has not played yet in spring dealing with illness. But obviously, Roman Anthony is another option. And again, he has been dealing with illness. It is craziness to see this team really just battling through illness up to this point in the spring. And again, we haven't even made it to the regular season yet, and we are dealing with so much conflict. Now, to start with, we're going to cite this article written by Sean McAdam just yesterday saying, from earlier, some things I think Red Sox in market for outfielder help. And it goes on to say, it's not a major or critical need for now, but according to an industry source, the Red Sox have let other teams know that they're in the market for additional outfield depth, especially the right-handed hitting variety, I should say. Now, this is a great point, as again, Sean McAdam has been a great guy to source about obviously the MLB, but particularly the Boston Red Sox. Now, going into this past offseason, there's two main topics of conversation. One, we need pitching help, regardless of it's starting or coming out of the bullpen. Check mark. Second thing, we need right-handed bats in desperately to balance out a lineup. And again, they did a damn good job. They went out and got Alex Bregman, obviously, was the only main acquisition in the sense of that. But again, Story's coming back from injury. Connor Wong looks like he's going to be a legitimate piece of this offense, as again, he did bat 280 last year, and again, the problems were the defense. But working with Jason Varitek, it seems like he could be a reliable everyday catcher, as well as Navarez being picked up, another right-handed bat, again, at a key position at catcher. Again, could also see him. Rafaela, again, another right-handed bat who was here last year. It seems like he's only getting better. But again, we have an ample amount of other guys who have been playing in the spring that have been flat out phenomenal, who also could be a right-handed bat option in the outfield, as Abreu, a left-handed bat who is great, and we want to see in this lineup from the start of the regular season until the end of it. Because of this illness, it seems like that is going to be pushed back, and until he does return, we are going to need another bat, and particularly a right fielder. So again, we broke down this and how they are in the market for another right fielder, but now we break down this. But Abreu has been slowed since the start of camp by a GI virus that has left him weakened and not yet cleared to swing. It's difficult to imagine him being available for opening day on March 27th. So again, the biggest idea is that, yes, Abreu's been battling this GI virus. He has not returned. He has not yet got into the swing of things, literally and metaphorically. But again, now he's going to be able to slowly work his way back, and we're not going to have to force him into a situation where, hey, you're playing opening day and he's flat out not ready, and then for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, first month of the season, he's just trying to find his footing and he looks horrible. His stats are then blemished because of it, and again, then he looks like a weak point, and it's just not a good situation. So what are the other options? Who can we then replace for the time being Abreu with? Well, because of the fact that we're in spring, we're getting live tryouts, if you will. And there are a handful of options, two of them being prospects, two of them being guys who have been in the league and at the show level before. The first one is going to be Trayce Thompson, who is a right fielder. He bats from the right side. He is 33 years of age, and we've seen him play as a bit of a journeyman. I know he hasn't been in the league for that long, but again, for a career, he is a bit of a journeyman, playing with the Dodgers and the White Sox last season and being more of a utility guy in the outfield, coming off the bench, pitch hitting, and again, not an everyday type of player. But during spring for the Red Sox, this kid has been killing it. Now, if you don't know, just quickly, side note, he is Klay Thompson's brother. That is a pretty cool piece of information, that two brothers in two professional leagues. That's pretty cool. The point of this, Trayce Thompson has been on a dominant roll throughout the entirety of spring. In 23 ABs, he has 9 hit runs, 9 hits, or 9 runs on 9 hits. He has 6 home runs and 12 RBIs with 3 stolen bases, hitting .391 with over 1,100 OPS. This guy has been destroying baseballs, and it's awesome to watch. I love that the Red Sox gave him a chance in spring, and he's really taking advantage of it. But now, is this going to be the guy that we add to this 40-man roster and put in right field as Abreu works his way back? I don't hate it. I really don't. I think this could be a reliable option. Obviously, it does say he has stolen 3 bags during spring. I will say he's not the biggest base stealer. He's not the fastest guy in the world. I will say he is about an average, just above average defender, so that is a plus. But again, the bat through spring has been phenomenal. And we watched him last year with the Dodgers, and it felt like in any time he was up at the bat or up to bat in a big situation, it felt like he always came through. And again, I'm having a bit of bias because now he's in a Red Sox jersey, and I would love to see him continue, have a 1,100 plus OPS on a big league level for the Red Sox. But again, Trayce Thompson, a reliable option, one of many options the Red Sox have, and someone who has not been dealing with illness, so he was able to get in 20-plus at-bats through this spring training up to this point. And again, it seems like he's going to be a reliable guy through the rest of spring, and most likely he's going to make the 40-man roster. But again, he's not the only guy really battling for a position here. Again, Nate Eaton, someone who is another right fielder, more of a utility guy, more than I would say than Thompson, because again, the speed is much higher. And again, this guy has been really, him and Thompson both, I will make the argument that these guys have been two of the MVPs, if you will, for the Red Sox during spring. They have just been the guys pushing the needle and pushing the Red Sox just over the hump in these games. It feels like the swings they have, the moments they have been so substantial. Obviously, you have Story with his 2 home run game, and it feels like he's back. You have the games where Bregman goes 3 for 3 in his opening game, and then he has another game where he goes 4 for 4. And I understand that there are other moments, and there are games where these guys are not considered major factors. But again, for the last 10 days, 2 weeks, it feels like these guys have been so substantial to the Red Sox success in spring training. And I understand this is spring training, so take it with a grain of salt. But again, another guy with an over 1,100 OPS, dominating 27 at-bats. He scored 10 runs on 7 hits. He has 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, only 1 stolen bag, which is interesting. I feel like Nate Eaton would be getting around the base path just a bit more than he has already in the idea of stealing bags. But again, he's a little bit younger than Trayce Thompson, almost called him Klay Thompson, then Trayce Thompson at 28 compared to 33, 5'10", 200 pounds. He moves a little bit quicker, a little bit more nimble on his feet than someone of Thompson. So again, if you're looking for more of a defensive-minded, more of a speedster, be able to get on base and move around those bases, Nate Eaton has that ability, but also carries some pop with him. And again, another very, very good option for the Red Sox if they wanted another utility guy to put in right field to cover Abreu while he is still missing time and getting back on track. And again, this is only the second of 4 options that we're talking about in this video. The other 2 are prospects. 2 prospects we have discussed a whole lot this spring. And the reason being is because it seemed like these 2 guys had the best chance to be on the show level by the time opening day came. Now, the only problem is Christian Campbell has been playing split positions. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we discussed it in the last episode of Red Sox Digest. Campbell has been playing both second and left field dominantly. Now, obviously, we're looking for a right fielder, and it seems like Duran is going to be our starting left fielder for the entirety of the season, being moved back to center field. But the point is, Campbell has been playing really 50-50 in the sense that he's played a lot of second as well as a lot of left field, excuse me. But so what are we going to do? And then offensively, he has not been great. He's looked like a prospect, if you will, one who is still growing and really learning on the big league level. And again, I understand it's spring, the jitters, getting it all through, getting acclimated, find your footing is all a real thing. But again, in 26 ABs, he does only have 4 hits where he has scored 4 runs. He has not hit a home run yet, which again is not the end of the world. But again, he is not even batting 200 in the sense of average. It's not the greatest performance through this point of the spring. Now, can things change rapidly, and could he go off as soon as today? Absolutely. But again, are the Red Sox thinking to use him as an outfielder, or are we looking to use him as a second baseman? These questions we are going to have to learn and find out as time goes on. Again, Alex Cora, you should put some trust in Alex Cora. Again, we've vocalized this multiple times on this channel. And again, I would vocalize that once again. Now, whether or not he chooses to put Campbell as a primary left fielder or at second base, it is to be determined. And again, like we mentioned earlier, it's basically every other game where he's playing, he plays left field, he plays second base, he plays left field, he plays second base. And again, there are times, if you look at the game logs, there are games where he only has 1 or 2 ABs, and that's because he's being pitch hit, and he's coming in the 4th and 5th inning, and he's replacing players like Hamilton or Grissom or another outfielder in Nate Eaton or whoever it may be. And again, he's getting reps at both of these positions, but if you would think if he was going into the second base position dominantly, wouldn't he be getting all of the reps? The same conversation that we have about Alex Bregman and the lack of second base he has played up to this point. Now, the last option, another person who has been out with illness for the last 8 days. He has not played in a spring training game in the last 8 days because of illness, once again. Now, Roman Anthony was labeled the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. He has had just a phenomenal last year and a half, if you will, in the sense of the prospect stage. And again, through spring, through 13 ABs, again, a very, very short amount because, again, he's been sick. He has been down with down with illness. And again, we have not been able to up the sample size, And because of that, we don't have a lot to go off of compared to someone like Campbell who has 20 plus ABs, Eaton who has 20 plus ABs. It's going to be interesting. But again, Anthony, I'm sorry, the font's very tiny. He's batting .308, again, 3 runs on 4 hits, no home runs, and again, 4 RBIs. He's playing a little bit better in the sense of average and statistical production. I will say Roman Anthony has a very, very good eye at the plate. His ability to obtain walks and get on first base freely in the sense of getting on the base via walk, base on balls, is phenomenal. And again, he is another outfielder, dominantly a center fielder, but again, he has the abilities because of the defensive capabilities to play both left and right, I would assume. And now it's going to be interesting to see where the Red Sox go from here. Does Cora give the keys to a guy who has already been established, someone like Thompson, someone like Nate Eaton? Or does he give the keys to a young prospect and allow them to grow on the show level from opening day going on and allow him to obviously be replaced by Abreu when he does return, but then use him as a utility guy, not an everyday guy, but to gain reps, gain really the experience and the knowledge along the lines and along the sides of the other MLB guys. It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. But again, we went through 4 different options and why they are in the market for those options today because of Abreu being down with injury. So again, please let me know down below what you guys think about this entire situation. Obviously, Abreu being out is a problem. He will be back very, very soon. I believe it won't even be a month until he does return and actually make an appearance for this Red Sox organization. But again, give him time because he's not going to be able to just walk back in, pick up a bat, put on a shin guard, tie his cleats up, and just be right back to normal Abreu. Again, he went through the summer. He went through the offseason, I should say, went through spring without being able to play and get live ABs, and because of that, it's going to take some time. So who would you like to see be the guy who replaces him for the time being until he returns out of those 4 options, or any other options that you may be thinking of that you would like to see on the Red Sox organization? Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next one.